let us get started. So we are going to start with calculations that involve fractions. So guys, tell me, when you are adding or subtracting a fraction, what is the most important thing that we have to remember when adding or subtracting using fractions? Anyone? Someone? What is the first step when we are adding or subtracting fractions? Does anyone know? We need to find something. What is that something called? Thank you, Seth. The denominators have to be the same. Okay, so the lowest common denominators, because the denominators have to be the same. Denominators must be the same. Okay, let me move my writing pad so that I can write nicely. Must be the same. Okay, so let's start with number 1. We have a half plus a quarter. So what is our lowest common denominator between a half and a quarter? Between 2 and 4, what is my lowest common? Nice, thank you, Seth. It is 4. So for number 1, our LCD is 4. Let me move it up a bit. There we go. Is 4. So what do we now have to do to make sure that both of them are over a denominator of 4? What am I going to do to the half? What am I going to do to the half, guys? Think of equivalent fractions. What did we do when we were trying to make equivalent fractions? I have a half and I want a denominator of 4. So what am I going to do to that 2? Multiply by 2. But what we do at the bottom, we have to do at the top. Okay, so that we don't change the meaning of the fraction. All right, so then my new fraction is now what? What is 1 times 2? 1 times 2 is 2. Thank you, guys, for participating. And 2 times 2 at the bottom is 4. So my new fraction is 2 over 4. Plus, we don't have to change the second one because it's already over 4. And then my answer will then be what, guys? What will my answer be? 2 over 4 plus 1 over 4. 8 over 3. I'm not sure how you got that many. Yes, that's correct. The answer is 3 over 4. Remember, when adding or subtracting, we only add or subtract the numerator. The denominator stays the same. So we only the numerators. Okay, so there was a fresh start. Let's go on to number 2. Number 2 says 2/5 plus a third. So what is my lowest common denominator? 4, 5, and 3. Nice, 15. So then we say 2 over 5. What do we multiply by for 2 over 5? What do we have to multiply by? Maybe I should write it down. Our LCD is 15. So we times by 3. And then here for 3, we times by what? By 5. Okay. Equals. So now we need to write our new fractions. So the first one is 2 times 3. What's 2 times 3? And it's over what? What's my new fraction for the first part? The blue one. My new fraction for the blue part is what? Thank you. 6 over. It's not over 5. Be careful, Asanda. It's 6 over. What's 5 times 3, guys? Remember, we're timesing by 3. There we go. 15. Plus, new fraction for the second part, for my green part. New fraction for the green part. Something over 15. Nice. 5 over 15. So then, 5 over 15 plus 6 over 15. It's like a tongue twister. 6 over 15 plus 5 over 15. What's my final answer, guys? Final answer. 11 over, be careful, wage. 11 over 15. Okay, remember, we do not change or mess with the denominators. Okay, we only add or subtract the numerators. Make that note in your book somewhere. Only add or subtract the numerators. Okay, now I'm going to skip to 4 because that is subtraction. Actually, let's do number 5. Number 5 for subtraction, we have denominators of 9 and 3. So my LCD for number 5 is what? We have 1 over 9 and a 2 over 3. Okay, Bohlale says our LCD is 3. Is 3 a multiple of 9? Remember, we're working with multiples here, not factors. No, it's not. So, in what number can 3 and 9 go into? Thank you, Seth. That would be 9. Do you understand that, Bohlale? We're working with multiples, not factors, because we're not dividing anything. We have to multiply them. Okay? So then, 1 over 9. Do we change anything there? It's already over 9, so do we have to do anything? No, but we do have to change the second one. What do I need to multiply 3 by to get to 9? Let me write it down. LCD is 9. Thank you and welcome, Nompumelelo. I'm so glad to be seeing new names here. I love it. That's my second name, by the way. Okay, so then my new fractions are 1 over 9 minus what? What is my new fraction for the second one? We have 2 over 3 times 3. So if I'm timesing those by 3 over 3, my new fraction is what? Anyone? What's the new fraction? Thank you very much. 6 over 9. Okay, and now we just subtract the numerators. What is 1 minus 6? 1 minus 6 is not quite 5. It is negative 5 over 9. Okay. Right, before we move on to multiplication and division, thumbs up, thumbs down. Are we good with this one? Are we good with addition and subtraction of fractions? Let's go to reactions. Anyone who might be new, go to reactions and press one of these if you're fine, and one of these if you don't understand anything. Then I'll explain to you and we can move on. Okay, don't be shy. If you don't understand, be honest. Okay, I see a bunch of thumbs up, so I am happy. Okay, now let's move on to multiplication. We'll do the mixed numbers just now. How did I get the 3? Which one? For number 5. Okay, so remember, you have to find the lowest common denominator, which is the same as your lowest common multiple. So remember, the multiples are 9, 18, 27, blah, 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 blah. And for 3, it's 3, 6, 9, blah, 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 blah. So which is the lowest one that is common between 3 and 9? The lowest one that is common between 3 and 9. It is 9. Okay, so that means we want a denominator of 9. But now we have a denominator of 3. So how do I get from a 3 to 9? What do I have to multiply 3 by to get to 9? By 3. So that's where those 3's come from. So I had to also add it to the numerator because otherwise you're changing the fraction, which is what we're not trying to do. Okay, what you want to do is to multiply the bottom by 3, and then you also multiply the top by 3, and then it is just an equivalent fraction. You didn't necessarily change it. Okay, you just put it over a different denominator. Did I answer your question, iPhone? Please change your name, guys. You can change your name. I hope I answered your question of where that 3 comes from. Okay. Okay, if I haven't, you can send a message in the chat. I want to move on to multiplication first. So multiplication, in my opinion, is the easier of all of them. Okay, I'm going to do number 10 now. It says 2/3 multiply by 4/5. Okay, how do we multiply fractions? How do we multiply fractions? Sorry. As I go back. Resume screen share. Cross canceling. Okay, yes, we cross cancel if we can. But then if you don't need to cross cancel, then how do we multiply fractions? What does cross canceling mean? Let's start there. What does cross canceling mean? It means we're looking for common factors, right? So is there a common factor between 2 and 5? No. Is there a common factor between 3 and 4? No. So we move on to the next step. After we cross cancel, what's the next step? We just multiply. Thank you, Seth. So you multiply the numerator with the numerator and the denominator with the denominator. So we're going to say 2 times 4 at the top. How much is 2 times 4? 8 over 5 times 3. 15. And that is your answer. Is multiplication not easy, guys? It is so easy. I feel like it's much easier, much simpler than the other ones. So the rule here is you say numerator times numerator. And at the bottom, you just say denominator times denominator, and you're done. Okay, now let's see if we can find ones that have common factors so we can see what happens. Let's look at number 12. Number 12 is a nice, interesting one, right? It's 2/3 over, number 12 says 2/3 times 9 over 4. Now let's start with our cross cancellation. 2 and 4, do they have a common factor? Yes. What's the common factor between 2 and 4? It is 2. How many times does 2 go into 2? Once. And how many times does it go into 4? Twice. Okay, we've done the first round of cross cancelling. Let's move on to 3 and 9. Do 3 and 9 have a common factor? And it is what? 3. How many times does 3 go into itself? Once. And into 9. 3 times. Okay, now we've done all our cross cancellation. So we go back to our rule of times denominator, denominator, and numerator by numerator. So now our new numerators are 1 times 3. What's 1 times 3, guys? 3 over what? 2. Now I want us to simplify this into a mixed fraction. Do you remember how to do that? 3 over 2 as a mixed fraction will turn into what? How many times does 2 go into 3? Nice, Seth. It goes in once, and the remainder is? It goes in once, and we are left with a half. 1/2. Okay, I think we should do another one that involves multiplication. Let's do number 13. It says 8/9 times 3/2. Over 2 equals. Okay, let's look at this one. Do we have common factors for this one? Between 8 and 2, yes, there's a common factor. What is my common factor between 8 and 2? It is 2. Mene is been waiting for me. Okay, 2 goes into itself how many times? Once, and into 8? 4 times. Nice, we've sorted that one out. 3 and 9, once again, 3 goes into itself. Once, and into 9. 3 times. Okay, let's multiply. 4 times 1 at the top. 4/3 times 1. 3, and as a mixed fraction, it's 1 and, be careful, it's 1 and what? Remember, 1 is 3/3, right? No, 1 is 3/3. So if you've taken away the 3/3 over there, you're left with, nice, Nompumelelo, you're left with a third. Okay, so remember, guys, can you see what I'm writing? Maybe it's my screen that's the problem. Can you all see what I just wrote? The 1 1/3? Yes. Okay, so it's not my settings. All right, there we go. Okay, I want to do one that's a little bit more interesting. Let's do number 15. Let's do 15. It says -12/10 times 5/3. Okay, common factors between -12 and 3. Do we have common factors? Nice, Bohlale. It's 3. How many times does 3 goes into itself? Once. And into -12? Into -12? Remember, if I say -12 divided by 3, a negative and a positive give you what? Nice, Wade. A negative and a positive give you a negative, right? And then you're going to say 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So it goes in there -4 times. Okay, you're welcome, Seth. I saw your message. Now let's go to 5 and 10. 5 goes into itself how many times? Once, and into 10 twice. Okay, so let's first multiply. What's -4 times 1? -4 times 1, it's -4. And 2 times 1 at the bottom, it is 2. Now, can we simplify this fraction? We have a -4 divided by 2. Can we simplify this fraction? Yes, we can. How do we simplify this fraction, guys? What's the answer? A negative divided by a positive. A negative and a positive give you what? Nice. I saw Wade give me my answer there. They give you a negative, and then 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay. I see there are no division ones over here, but I'm going to do it on the side anyway. Okay. If I have 2/4, nope, that doesn't even make sense because then we'd simplify. Let me say 3/4 divided by 12 over 20. How do we work this out? Does anyone know how we do division of fractions? What does that mean? KCF. Convert to division. I'm pretty sure you mean to multiplication. Seth, it sounds like you know what you're saying. You just said the wrong word. We're going to convert it to multiplication. So the first thing, the word K, the letter K stands for what? Does anyone know? This is a rule that we use for division. The letter K stands for keep. Okay, that means you're going to keep this first fraction the way it is. So it's going to be 3 over 4. Then the second letter stands for change or convert. That could also work. Convert the division symbol to a multiplication symbol. Okay, then the last one stands for flip. Nice, Seth, flip. And suddenly my letters were so small, but I'm using the wrong pen. Flip. So we have to flip my last fraction the other way around. So then 20 becomes my new numerator and 12 becomes my new denominator. And now it just looks like a multiplication one, right? So you go back to, is there or are there any common factors between 3 and 12? I'm pretty sure there are, right? Yes, so 3 goes into itself once and into 12 4 times. Nice. 4 goes into itself how many times? Once and into 20 5 times. Okay, so then my answer is, what's 1 times 5? 5 over 1 times 4 over 4. And my simplified fraction is then what? My simplified fraction is then? Nice. 1 and a quarter. Do you guys want to do another division one? Let's do another division over here. Okay, so I'm going to say 11 over 30 divided by 33 over negative 10. Okay, now first one is keep. We're keeping the same fraction the same. So it's still 11 over 30. We are changing our divide to a multiplication, and we are flipping the last fraction. So it becomes negative 10 over 33. Are there common factors between 33 and 11? Yes, what are they? What's the common factor between 13 and 33 and 11? Nice, 11. Thanks, Botlali. 11 goes into itself once and into 33. How many times? Nice, 3 times. Okay. Negative 10 goes into itself once and into 30. How many times? I almost wrote negative 10 again. Not 3 times. Remember the symbol? Nice. Negative 3. Okay. Now let's see what my new answer is. The top, we have 1 times 1. What's my answer for that? 1. And at the bottom, I have a negative 3 times 3. What's negative 3 multiplied by 3? Negative 9. Okay, let's have a thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Multiplication and division of fractions. Remember, if you don't understand, you must just put a thumbs down or ask a question in the chat and I'll clarify it for you quickly. Okay, I see the thumbs up in the reactions as well as in the chat. I hope we are not all just shy to ask. Okay, those who want to screenshot, I'm going to zoom out for you. This is the last chance for everyone who doesn't understand to ask a question. There. That's all the content we've done so far. You can take a screenshot if you're on your phone or your laptop. All right. I'm assuming we're all done. Okay, now let's do some more interesting work, right? Let's do some more interesting work. So Henry and his brother Robert are given the same amount of pocket money. Henry spends 7/8 of his pocket money on games, while Robert spends half the amount of games and 2/3 of his pocket money on new shoes. What fraction do they spend? What fraction does Robert spend altogether? Okay, so let's look at Robert. Okay, Robert's over there. He says, first they said he spends half of that amount. So he spends half of 7/8. Do you guys agree? Spends half of 7/8 on games and 2 bits on pocket money for the new shoes. So first, let's see how much Robert spends on games. So I'm going to write here A, games. So it's 7/8, and they said he spends half of that. What does off mean, guys? Which operation is off? Does anyone know? Nice, Seth. Off is a multiplication. So a half of 7/8, nice Wade, and Ireland means that. Okay, so let's first find out what fraction he spends on games. 7 times 1 is what? We don't have any common factors. Do we agree? There are no common factors, so I'm going to just go ahead and multiply. 7 times 1 is 7, and 8 times 2 is 16. So that's how much he spends just on games, right? But we also know that Robert spends 2/5 on new shoes. So not only does he spend 7/16, he also spends 2/5. So what would be our lowest common denominator for 16 and 5? Does anyone know? 16 and 5, what would be our lowest common denominator? Sixteen and 5, what would be our lowest common denominator, guys? Yes, Seth, let's use 80. Okay, so we want a denominator of 80. So what do I times 16 by to get to 80? What am I going to times 16 by? Nice, by 5. Right? And what do I times 5 by to get to 80? What do I times 5 by? By 16. Okay, let's write our new fractions. Our new fractions, it says 7 times 5, which is how much? We know they're going to be over 80. Nice, Mini. It is 35. Plus 2 times 16. How much is that? It is 32. So then how much does Robert spend in total? 35 plus 32 is 67 over 80. Nice, guys. Beautiful. Now let's go on to B. The first one in B says, if Henry and Robert, so now they are telling us that their pocket money is actually 300 rands, right? Find the amount that Henry spends on games. Okay, what is the fraction that Henry spends on games before we get to amount? What is the fraction that Henry, nice, Seth, 7 over 8. So we know he has 300 and he spends 7/8 of that on games. So what is my operation again? He spends 7/8 of that. So that means my operation is what? Are we adding these? Many says divide. Remember, many of means you times. Okay. Unless you're saying 300 divided by 8 times by 7. Then you say divide. But of means multiplication. Okay. Now let's work this out. Let's work this out. Let's first find common factors between 8 and 300. Do we have common factors, guys? Are you sure? They're even numbers, so surely they have common factors. Yes. What is my highest common factor? We know we can divide them both by 2, right? But is there another number that we can divide them by? Mene says 8. What would you get? Oh, Mene now says 6. You can't divide 8 by 6, remember? But we can divide them both by 4. What's 8 divided by 4? 8 divided by 4. Guys, if you use 2 first, it's not a train smash. Let me show you why. Okay, let's use 2. They're even numbers, so you know 2 is a common factor, right? So let me do this. 8 divided by 2 is what? 8 divided by 2 is 4, right? And 300 divided by 2 is 150. But do you see that you can still divide by 2 again? Do you guys see that? You can say 150 divided by 2, and how much is that going to give you? 75. And 4, if you divide it by 2, is going to give you 2. See, so you don't have to know the highest common factor. Even if you know any common factor, you'll just divide it again. So now we have a 75 times 7, which gives us how much? 75 times 7 at the top. How much does that give us? Obviously, you would use your calculator for the sum, right? 525 divided by 2. Remember, we still have a 2 in the denominator. So how much does he spend? 525 divided by 2. How much does he spend? You can use your calculator, guys. I'm pretty sure there's going to be cents in there somewhere. 262. And because it's money, make sure you write the 0, otherwise you lose a mark. Okay, so money always has 2 decimal places. So it's 262.50 cents. Okay. That's how much Henry spent. I almost said Robert. That's how much Henry spent. Then number 2 says the total amount that Robert spent. Now, listen carefully, guys. In A, we found the fraction that Robert spends, right? We said it is 67 over 80. Now, if that was wrong, if this was a test and you found the wrong fraction, I would still work with that wrong fraction if you apply it correctly. Okay, so it's the same calculation. You say 300 rands, and he spends 67/80 of that. Now, if we go on our calculator, what is 67/80 times 300 rand? What is 67/80 times 300 rand? You can use the fraction key on your calculator. It looks like this. Or you can just straight up divide. Okay. You can say 300 times 67 divided by 80, because that's what that line means. It's a division line. So let's find out how much Robert spends and how much is that? 251 rands and 25 cents. Okay. And the last one says, how much money do the boys have left over if they put their money together? Let's start with Henry. How much does Henry have left over? So he had 300. What do we do? How would we calculate how much Henry has left over? We know he spent 200 and Emmanuel's hand is up, which is fabulous. Yes, Emmanuel. You're unmuted. You may speak. Hello. Okay, I think your speaker might be having some problems, Emmanuel. Are you connected to earphones? Maybe that's the problem. Okay, I'm going to try and unmute you one more time, Emmanuel. Hello. Oh, okay, it's fine. But Mine has told us in the chat, we have to subtract. We have to subtract. If we know he had 300 rand, we're going to say 300 minus 262.50, and that gives us what? So for Henry, we have how much? How much does Henry have left? 37 rand 50. And Robert, on the other hand, spent 251 rand 25 cents. So how much does Robert have left? 48. Are you sure? Should be around 42. Oh, it's 51. I thought it was 53. Yes, it is 48. It is 48. Okay, have we answered the question though? No. What do we still have to do? Because it said they put their money together. Now we have to add. So I'm going to say all together they have 48 rand 75 plus 37 rand 50, which means they have how much altogether? 86 rand 25. Okay. Are we good? Thumbs up, thumbs down. How are we with this section? While we're doing our thumbs up, thumbs down, I'm going to zoom out for people who want to take screenshots. Emmanuel, unfortunately, I cannot add anyone. You should have gotten, he can log into the Google Classroom, The link is there with his details. Thumbs up, thumbs down, guys. I'm seeing very few thumbs up. Go to reactions and press thumbs up if you understand, and if you don't, press thumbs down so I can help you. Okay, let's have a bit of a brain break. Is anyone willing to unmute for me to have a brain break? Anyone? Lucievel is here. There we go. Hello, Chantal. Hello.
Hello, ma'am.
There we go. Chantal, would you rather sing in front of 1,000 people or dance in front of 1,000 people?
Ma'am, dance.
Hey, I hope you can dance, Chantal.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't shock us, please. To be fair, guys, I can't dance and I still would dance. I would still dance. Singing is tricky. Look at Angel's. You see, Angel is there. Guys, nobody else wants to speak to me. Linomta is like, look, I got talent. I'll do both. Love it. I love it. Okay, the next one says, would you rather run into an alien or Bigfoot? If you're taking a walk somewhere, would you rather run into an alien or run into Bigfoot standing right in front of you? Men is like Bigfoot. Guys, you know how massive Bigfoot is? Well, the stuff they've shown us about Bigfoot. You know, if you run into an alien, nobody's going to believe you, right? And Bigfoot, actually, we're all going to say, Angel's like, ain't no way I'm running into a Bigfoot. I'll take alien any day. You guys are so cute. Bigfoot, you know what to expect. That's true, Seth. That's true. I have no idea what I'm going to see if it's like, I wouldn't even be able to identify it. Like, I'll just see something and be like, what is that? Like, I would literally have no idea what it is. Okay, the last one. Would you rather have a conversation with your future self or with your past self? This is an interesting one. Future, says Mini. What would you say, guys? I'm so curious to know what you would say. What would you say? What would you say? Or would you ask something? What would you say to your future self? Or what would you ask? Leonardo's like, I'd rather speak to my past self. What would you say to a past self, guys? I'm actually so curious to know. Younger self, I was naughty. I would tell him to behave. Hectic, Angel. Oh my goodness. Oh, Mina says, will I be successful? Oh. Lucia was like, I want to know how my life is in the future. I would ask them, am I going to be a businesswoman or chief? You guys are interesting. I like it. Okay, are we ready for one more? Let's do one more. Edgar's maths class. I was hoping there's an Edgar here today, but it's fine. Edgar's maths class. Wrote a test, and 5 students got the following marks. Okay. What fraction did each of the students get correct? That's interesting, right? So I'm going to do this. I'm going to number them: student 1, student 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so student 1 got 82%, but that's not a fraction. What is 82% as a fraction, guys? 82%. Percent means out of what? Percent means nice, Caden. 82 out of 100. Now let's simplify it. Let's simplify it. If I divide both by 2, it's going to be, it's not 42, be careful. 41 over 50. Nice. Number 2 got 27% as a fraction, that is. 27% as a fraction. 27 over 100. Nice. Okay, number 3 got 95%. Oh, Seth is like, let me get this out the way fast. 95 over 100, but let's simplify that. Also, the next one is 32 over 100. Let's simplify. And 60 over 100. We can simplify all of them. 19 out of 20. Nice. And the next one, 32 over 100. 32 over 100. 8 over 25. Nice. And 60 over 100. 3/5. That is correct. Okay. What fraction did each student get wrong? So I'm going to write B over here. How would we know what fraction each student got wrong? What do you guys think? Someone said minus 100. Not necessarily. Or are you saying minus from 100? Because that would be correct. If you're minusing from 100, but 82 minus 100 would give you a negative answer. But if you said 100 minus 82, that will give you the correct answer. Do you see what I mean? But you have to use the ones that are percentages. Or you can use what's left over, guys. If you got 41 over 50, what did you get wrong? How many did you get wrong? 9 out of what? For the first one. Be careful, it's 41 over 50. So it's 9 out of 50. Okay, for the next one, if you have 27 over 100, what did you get wrong? How many did you get wrong? 73 over 100. Next one, if you got 19 out of 20, what did you get wrong? 1 out of 20. If you get 8 out of 25, how many did you get wrong? 8 out of 25, that's good. 17 out of 25. And if you got 3 out of 5, how many did you get wrong? 2 out of 5. Okay. If the test was out of 25, what mark did each student get? Round off to the nearest whole number, C. So you're going to say 25 times 82%. And then you're going to say 25 times, the second one is 27%. You guys can do this and tell me what my answers are. The next one is 25 times 95%. And then 25 times 32%. We actually already know that one. And my last one is 25 times 60%. Okay, first one. They got 82%. What's 25 times 82%? 42 over 2. You can still divide that, Bukhali. So Bukhali did this. It says 25 goes into itself once and into there. 4 times. And this is, it's actually 41 over 2. Can you see that? 41 over 2, if you simplify these two. Okay, 41 over 2 means you get what? 20 comma 5, but it says round off to the nearest whole, so they got 21. And for my next one, it's the same thing, 1 and 4. That means 27 over 4. The reason I'm rushing, guys, is because we're out of time, technically. 1, 4, and 1, 4. 60%, that means they got 15, right? 95 divided by 2, by 4, excuse me, is what? Let me rewrite them. What's 95 divided by 4, guys? Anyone still alive? Okay, let me do them quickly for us. So 27 divided by 4 is, for this one, he got 6.75, which we round off to 7. 95 divided by 4, I'm guessing that's the one everyone is sending. 23.75, which we round off to 24. And that is our lesson for the day. I hope you guys learned some valuable stuff. I hope we refreshed our memories. When you simplify, is there an easier way to simplify? Because I take a long time trying to get the LCD. Seth, you don't have to get, as I said, okay? If they're both even numbers, just keep using 2 until you can't. Do you get what I mean? For instance, if I have 8 over 10, I'm going to say 2. Nope. I'm going to say 2 goes into 8 4 times and into 10. Nope, that was a terrible example. There's no way I was going with this. Let's say 8 over 32. Okay, so it goes in there 4 times and into there 16 times. But you can still do it because your new fraction is 4 over 16. So you say 2 goes into there twice and into there 8 times. Now my new fraction is 2 over 8. You can still do it once, 4 times. And now can you simplify anymore? No. That's when you know you're done. Okay. Anyway, guys, have a fabulous, fabulous evening.